Hello, I'm Mayah Rose.
And I'm Gerald Rogers.
And today we're talking about relationship manifestos. This is the way you can manifest your ideal relationship.
So what is a relationship manifesto and why is this so important? Just understand that at the beginning of anything, there's two aspects of creation. First is the thought, and then the actual physical manifestation of that thing. And most people have this unconscious blueprint in their mind that often creates a relationship where there's friction or distrust or some of the old patterns that they might have grown up with in the past.
In fact, have you ever found yourself repeatedly in the same relationship just with a different person? Or maybe you've been in a long-term relationship and you notice patterns that are showing up over and over and over again, patterns that you don't want, but you aren't sure how to get out of these patterns of dating the same person with a different face or being stuck in a relationship where you are reliving things over and over again that you don't want to have in your relationship.
So just imagine if you wanted to create a different house, a different home for you to live in, you'd just work with a different blueprint, right? I mean, that makes sense. But the same thing happens with creating an internal blueprint in our mind and actually creating a vision for the ideal or dream relationship that we want to have, and then to use that blueprint as the tool to build the future that you want to have.
So we call this the relationship manifesto. So first of all, let's talk about what a relationship manifesto is not. A relationship manifesto is not you writing down, my ideal partner is 6'5" with brown hair and makes $100,000 or more and drives a Maserati. That is not the way that we do relationship manifestos. What relationship manifestos are is a description of how you want to feel and what you want to experience in your soul connection with your soulmate.
Yeah, so before we go into how to actually create your relationship manifesto and sharing what ours looks like, I want to give you a couple tools just to understand how the subconscious and how the mind works. So we have these parts of our brain that store these memories or this identity of who we think we are. So most of how you experience relationships now is actually what you perceive growing up, you know, from that unconscious state when you're observing your parents and the other people around you in the world. And I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up I grew up with amazing parents, but not with the best role models in terms of having a conscious, loving, thriving relationship. You know, in the experience I had growing up, you know, I experienced a father that was mostly emasculated, very sweet, very kind, but didn't know how to hold his presence or strength with this very strong woman that he was married to. And I never saw affection of any form. And so unconsciously, I had this built up vision or identity around what relationships were. Now, if we don't do the intentional work of reprogramming our subconscious, then we begin doing the same patterns. And oftentimes we end up marrying or being attracted to the person that most represents the unconscious mother or father from our childhood that we most had a challenge getting love from. So I'm going to say that again. So in the book, Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendricks, he talks about this as what's called an imago relationship. An imago relationship is built on this idea that we're attracted to the person that most represents the mother or father from our childhood that we had the hardest time getting love from. And it's some weird part of our psychology where we bring these people into our love, seeking for love and approval, and maybe it's done for our healing or whatever it might be, but unconsciously we just keep creating these patterns over and over again. So to break the pattern, it requires us to subconsciously reprogram our mind. And to do that, it begins with crafting and clarifying a new vision. To repeat that vision over and over and over in our mind, so it becomes familiar to us, and then to experience the emotion of that vision so that it feels in our body as though we already have that thing.
So the first step to setting up your relationship manifesto so you can really describe what you want to feel is to make sure that you're in a space that's comfortable, relaxed. Maybe you have some nice music playing. Make sure you have a lot of space. Your phone's turned off. You're in a comfortable space where you can really take time to decide how do you want to feel in a relationship. And then the next key is to start writing how you want to feel. So for example, when I was writing my relationship manifesto prior to meeting Gerald, I wrote, I want to feel connected. I want to play with my partner and feel like we can travel all over the world and have a lot of fun. I want to be celebrated and worshiped by this divine masculine in my life. And those things that I wrote, then I could start feeling, and I started getting into the frequency of that feeling. And so that when Gerald came into my life, I understood or already knew that frequency and could identify that he was a good match or a good fit for me.
Yeah, and before I met Mayah Rose, I had gone through a similar process where I wrote out this description of what I felt like my soulmate would feel like when she came into my life. And I wrote this expression of how our souls felt like we expanded each other. I wrote about how I valued her love of herself and the way she took care of herself and the way she took care of her body and the way that we were able to communicate and meet on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. And I wrote this very elaborate experience of what my vision of this relationship would feel like for me. And it's interesting because I had written it and then I had stored away, it got lost in some things and I didn't really think about it. Then all of a sudden, after Mayah Rose and I had been dating for 6 months, I found it was like, oh my gosh, this describes Mayah Rose completely. It was really, really a fun thing to see and just evidence once again that this works.
And here's a couple of tips when you're writing your relationship manifesto is to make sure you don't use specifics like certain amounts of money, certain height, color of hair, color of eyes, things like that, because you're limiting yourself. Write how you want to feel in the relationship, what you want to experience within the relationship. And as you're writing this, you should have a smile on your face. You should feel the warm tinglies in your body. You should feel excited as you're writing this. And once you write your vision, put it in a place where you can see it often. Or if you really want to do the work, then you're gonna record your vision and listen to your vision in your own voice every night before you go to bed. This is really going to put you in the frequency of what you want to attract. And like Bruce Lipton and many other scientists have explained, when you are in a certain frequency, you tend to attract that type of frequency towards you. It's like you're a magnet pulling that person in. And so you'll notice when you write your relationship manifesto, when you describe how you want to feel, that you'll start meeting people that match that frequency. And maybe it's not your soulmate. Maybe it's just somebody you go on one date with. Or maybe if you're in a relationship and have been in a marriage for a long time or in a partnership for a long time, and you're writing what you want to experience in your partnership, maybe you notice your partner making sudden unexpected shifts. And this is really great because what's happening is that they're matching the frequency of your manifesto.
And one of the great things about this whole process is it allows you to just get curious. What is most important to you? What are your core values that are your must to have within a relationship? What are the needs that you have? How is it that you feel loved? What are the things that you do in a relationship that make you feel alive? And the way that I kind of look at it is you're creating this vision. It's almost like there's this catalog in the universe of possible experiences and opportunities, and you're just pulling out, okay, this is most important. It's important to me to have someone that loves to travel, or I want to have someone that loves personal growth and evolution and development, or I want someone that shares my values of spirituality or faith or whatever, and find the things that are most important. And then some things you might realize, oh, it's not actually, some things aren't that important. And then for those of you that are single, as you're dating, you're going to find attributes or aspects of people you date. It's like, oh my gosh, that's really amazing. And you'll notice things that maybe you need to clarify in your soul vision. It's like, oh yeah, actually that is a no-go. That is something I don't want. And then one of the things that's really important is after Mayah Rose and I have been in a relationship for a long time, we are still looking to evolve and grow and deepen our relationship. So we upgrade and update our relationship vision manifesto. And if it's okay, I'd love to just share a little bit about the relationship manifesto that I wrote.
Yeah, I love that.
And as I read this, once again, this is my words, my language, my heart, and so it's a very tender, special thing that I open up for you. But as I do this, hopefully you'll get an idea of the type of language you use, because the more expressive, the more descriptive, the more the emotional language is, the more you can envision that as you read it or listen to it, the more your body begins to internalize it, and your heart sends out this frequency, magnetizing that into your life. So I'm just going to read a little bit about it. And yeah, just hopefully you can feel this. So my relationship manifesto: we make love every day by putting meaningful and sacred energy into growing our connection through touch, our words, our service, and our time. We only speak the frequency of love and empowerment into our relationship. And when we talk about each other, it inspires us and others to recognize our greatness. We tune in regularly with each other and take time to talk about the specific needs of each other, of our children, and of our tribe. We have open communication and feel safe to share our deepest desires, our hopes, our fears, our worries, our concerns, and our feelings. We hold each other's hearts in honor and love and stand as powerful reminders to each other of who they are. We're powerful stewards of the resources we have been entrusted with and invest in long-term future of our kingdom while living to the fullest in the moment and living with no regrets. We are magic moment millionaires. We treasure the endless flow of joy we experience each day. We are healthy, sexy, and full of vitality, and love to eat healthy food and work out together. We love to lead retreats and travel to sacred places on the earth, open portals, download codes, and to awaken and activate the spiritual gifts of those that join us. Our home is a sanctuary, and our soul family and all who enter feel embraced, loved, and welcome. We feel safe, grounded, and take radical responsibility for our experience in our relationship. We honor our purpose and support each other in pursuing our passions. We claim sovereignty for our own emotions and seek to live in a high vibrational state. We nurture unconditional love we hold for each other. We honor each other's truth and celebrate the magic that brings to the planet individually and together. We are growth seekers, always looking for ways to grow and expand as a couple and individuals. We take time to remember and to cultivate our connection to Source and intentionally bring that energy into all that we do. We have the most extraordinary sex and continue to break our orgasms records. Anyways, I could go on, but it's hopefully you can see as you're writing this relationship manifesto, you're looking for these different categories that your relationship connects. So you want to describe what your home feels like, what it feels like in your body, the way that you connect with each other, how you work together as a team with your family and your finances. So have fun with it, and just imagine you're writing a future chapter of your life. So put on that creative writing hat and have fun.
Absolutely. And if you're wanting more information about how to write your manifesto and to step into a deeper connection with your soulmate and partner, click the link below. We'd love to have you come to one of our upcoming events and see you in person and share this frequency with you. So until then, just remember that
this is your life. This is your relationship.
So make it legendary.